All right. Let's record this bitch.
Okay.
Cast a pod.
Podcast?
A pod.
Metalcast?
Metal pod.
Diarrhea.
Isn't that supposed to be a question?
Diarrhea?
No, it's not. Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
It's just the Metal Gear voice. It's
This is Idle Thumbs 13.
Idle Games, video 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 games,
It's January 7th, 2009, the year of the video game.
This is Idle Thumbs 13. I'm Chris re.mo.
I'm Jake Rodkin, and Nick Brecken is fired.
Yep. In his place, we've hired Steve Hot Scoop Scanner.
Hey, everybody. I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, Nick is not actually fired, but is sick or something. He's claiming he's sick.
Apparently, he had to go to the emergency room.
Oh, whoa, shit. I thought you were joking about that.
No, I'm serious. On Sunday.
From being so sick.
Well, apparently...
He played so many awesome video games.
His mind just couldn't handle it.
It was like, I think it was Nintendo Thumb.
Nintendo Thumb, yeah.
He contracted video game fever.
The more advanced strain of that is PlayStation Thumb.
PlayStation Thumb?
In the mid-90s, it developed a mutation, and the virus became
There was an old
Thumb.
Idle Thumbs news update about that. It was about that, and it's sort of less well-documented disease of the parallax scrolling in Sonic the Hedgehog making your eyes go weird. That one's not really classified.
Did you guys ever get the Guitar Hero thing where suddenly everything looks like it's going up?
Yeah. No, yeah. It's an optical illusion thing where you stare at the notes long enough and then you immediately look to the side and it looks like your walls are moving. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Also, I had a thing where when I was playing a lot of Katamari Damacy, when I was driving, it was actually probably the most dangerous effect I've ever had to a video game.
I can roll that shit right up.
Yeah.
I was constantly looking out the one that always got me was when I'd be on the freeway and I'd look out the window and I'd see a big line of like light posts, like the big huge like
yes,
I'd be like, oh my god, I can just go fucking straight up.
That's where like
all those fucking things down.
Burnout makes you fucking dangerous as well. Like to me at least.
I've heard the Katamari anecdote multiple times. People being like, yeah, I played 8 hours of Katamari over the weekend, and then I got in my car and I was like, I had to keep myself from swerving off the road to roll up bushes
seriously.
or whatever.
I've never had
That's extreme.
I've never had a video game sort of based instinct affect me as strongly in the real world as Katamari, where occasionally I had to like fight off the urge. Be like, what the fuck am I thinking? This is terrible.
Well, I finally got Xbox Live like right around the same time as Burnout Revenge came out, and it actually did encourage me to near miss.
Oh god!
I had to resist the urge to like near miss and thread the needle. Like,
oh wow!
So that's fucking bad. Anyway, video games don't make people into killers.
Man,
says video game enthusiasts.
Yeah, seriously. Did you guys see the story about the kid who, like the 6-year-old who apparently thought Grand Theft Auto taught him how to drive?
I did.
Like, drove 2 miles to try to get to school in the morning.
If you stop near a girl. What? It just makes your car bounce around and you lose some money, but
you get your health back.
Yeah, your health back.
You get your health back. I don't know.
Like what if
that's pretty cool?
If he's got a cold,
right?
And then
color
apparently
forms
he just
in there.
like he. This is what actually impressed me most. Well, not that the other thing impressed me, but he like.
If you think that's something.
No, but what actually did impress me is that after he like crashed or something and had to get out of the car, he fucking walked.
His car exploded.
He knew that was happening, so he decided to get out.
He crawled out from underneath the wreckage.
He decided to walk the rest of the way to school, and he got there by like after lunch. That's fucking what 6-year-old like is that dedicated to school that he like went to such ridiculous lengths.
Well, he did find an AK and 2 health pickups. That's turning into fucking Leno warm up or something.
He found like 3 secret packages.
That's
pretty good progress.
Yeah.
No, but that is like a crazy story. I mean, I guess the kid knew enough to
How did he
to turn the key in the ignition and go into gear and use the gas and brake? Like that seems pretty advanced for a 6-year-old.
Like I don't understand how he.
I don't know. 6-year-olds you can see over the wheel.
Can have legs.
Yeah, see over the wheel and touch pedals simultaneously. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it obviously wasn't safe in any way whatsoever, and he ended up going off the road and running into a utility pole. Yeah, but he was probably going like 20 miles an hour.
The utility pole weirdly didn't move.
Well, no. If it was metal, he knocked it over. If it was wood,
that's true.
It's completely immobile and indestructible for some reason.
Yeah,
that's how things work. Video games have taught me.
Yeah,
video games learned. Oh man,
I had another video game related real world horrible thing, and I forget what it was now. But
well, I mean, I know that speaking of Grand Theft Auto, the first time I ever played Grand Theft Auto 3 was it was back when I was in college, and it was like it was right around the time the game came out, which was like a year or two after the PS2 came out.
2002 or 3.
Yeah, and so I didn't have a PS2 or the money to buy one, but it was still in the day and age when Blockbuster rented PS2s out, you know? Oh. And so I rented it and put down the deposit and got a copy of Grand Theft Auto 3 along with it. And for whatever reason, like, I don't even remember why, I couldn't play it for the whole rental period until like 5 p.m. the night it was due, like before the opening of the business the next day. And so like I put in the game at 5 p.m. and I literally didn't do anything but play it. I didn't even get out of my seat or stop looking at the screen for 16 hours until like whatever that would be, I guess 8 a.m. the next morning. And then I took it out and walked it to Blockbuster and dropped it off before they opened so I wouldn't have to pay any more money for it. And when I came home and laid down in bed and closed my eyes, I could still like see the road, like the cars driving. I could hear the fucking like police sirens
in my ears. That's when people stay up awake because they just keep seeing nonstop Tetris blocks.
Yeah, but I felt like I was I was having like flashbacks to the war or something. I was just like hearing and seeing phantom images in my mind while I was trying to go to sleep. It was pretty egregious, but also pretty sweet because that game was fun.
One of the most lasting mental associations I have with Grand Theft Auto for some strange reason is constantly to this day when I see footage of an accident on the news, or if I see a movie where a car is like being shot at, when the smoke starts coming out, I'm always like,
get out of there!
No. I'm like, oh, white smoke, they're good. They can keep going. And then, like, if there's black smoke, I'm like, oh shit, they got like 3 seconds. They better fucking get out of that.
Well, did you hear about that? Did you hear about? There was a news story specifically about that.
That's how cars work.
No. Earlier this year, like, I was reading a news story and I remember
this year, like, so within the last week.
Sorry, last year.
Oh, I just pwned you.
Yeah, I got completely fucking owned. Here come the cops now.
3 stars.
But anyway, there was a news story a while back, like I don't know how many months ago, but it was like this family drove off the road and their car like rolled over and
oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, and it was like their preteen daughter or something was like one of the few people in the car who was still conscious, but none of them had been killed or anything. But the car had flipped over, and she thought from Grand Theft Auto that meant their car was going to explode. So she dragged all of her family members like out of the car to safety because of that,
breaking 2 of their necks.
I don't think it actually exploded.
Well, she shot the gas tank after that.
She shot each of the tires to watch them pop because that's pretty neat. No, but video games teach people how to save lives.
Yeah, man, that's what I've always said. Why do you think I write about video games? It's out of a sense of social justice.
Yeah.
Social conscience.
You're giving back to the community that gave so much to you.
Exactly. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Plus, it's fun to drive over those telephone poles.
Yeah.
You get so many. I mean, like, you can add so many feet to your.
You can add those to your car, and eventually you'll be getting the fucking buildings.
It's like the most efficient way to do it because they're hardly any volume, but they add tons of like actual extra inches.
But they make you uneven.
That's okay. If you get a whole line of them in a row, it ends up being all right.
Yeah.
Man, Katamari is a game I haven't played in a while. Have you guys seen the footage from the new game, Noby Noby Boy?
Yeah. It looks insane.
It looks really insane.
I'm really happy that it exists.
Yeah. So you've watched it? I like
it sounds not as objective based, which actually does kind of disappoint me a little bit, because whatever, I'm fine playing a weird sandbox thing by that guy or whatever the hell it is.
Well, no, but there is an objective.
Is there
involved? Yeah, it's like
make a dude.
Well, it's each time you
color a dinosaur.
Whenever you eat stuff, it like makes you.
Yeah, that's some NES game by Virgin Interactive.
Oh, I remember that.
With music by Tommy Tallarico. You color a dinosaur. Anyway,
in Noby Noby Boy,
the Shack News game database. I did.
In Noby Noby Boy, seemingly like as you get longer, there's some kind of metagame thing where there's like a female Noby Noby that is like
Noby girl.
Maybe that's like growing out into space from the planet you're on, and like your progress is based on how far out into the solar system she is or something. Like I don't know. There is some kind of weird like get your Noby Noby Boy as long as you can kind of objective going on. I think. I don't know, but it looks really weird, and from anyone except Keita Takahashi, you would think it was just a prototype, but they're definitely going to release it like that. And it has awesome weird like
network game, right?
Yeah, but it has a really strange like sort of Moog synth soundtrack where I'm sorry, Mr. Music Major.
It's pronounced mohg.
It's
a misconception.
But like as he grows longer, as the Noby Noby Boy grows longer, whatever, there's just sort of like this weird tone in the background. It's like it's awesome.
That's so good. Yeah, I really like I mean the art style is still, it's obviously even pushed to be even more simple and sort of minimalist than Katamari, but I really liked that the fidelity of current gen consoles still super shows through, because like the shapes are really simplistic.
Yeah.
But the actual poly count and the fidelity, really it looks great. Like it looks almost like vector.
The crazy ass like physics calculations of
and actually the weird tube stuff is crazy.
The rope physics of him like tying himself in knots and everything is crazy to comprehend. Like,
it's cool.
It's pretty fucking incredible that is like a real time playable thing, and like you can do all this rope physics stuff and it's not pre-rendered.
I really liked that they put out, there was like, it might have been at TGS when there were a couple images released from that game, and it was suddenly like people were like, wait, is this turned into some 2D thing? And it's like, that's just the title screen.
Yeah, right. Oh, right.
People are like, oh no, I'm so disappointed that this turned into this game where you're just like a couple circles connected together, and then that's just the crazy weird micro game that
I love when games do stuff like that. That's such like an exclusively video gamey thing to have a title screen that isn't in itself an embedded game.
Yeah,
I love shit like that. Like, I really enjoy when people take the time to do, like, this is a really very minimal example compared to that, but since I was playing it over the break, Pikmin 2 has the little Pikmin 2 logo on the front is actually entirely made up of little blossoms of the Pikmin, and you can, like, rearrange it into crazy shapes and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And you would never notice unless you try just fiddling around with the triggers and buttons when it's there.
Sort of like the Lionhead logo that they do, like, weird physics shit with in a bunch of their games. Yeah. That's cool.
Like pulling on Mario's face in Mario 64.
I don't remember doing that.
His huge face comes up and says, "It's a me, Mario," and you're supposed to be blown away by how 3D it is.
Mario, it's a him, Mario.
And then you can pull on his face and make it stick,
really?
and you can make his nose stretch all weird, and then it bounces back.
Oh, weird.
Because it's a him.
I didn't have an N64.
Oh,
and I didn't really play very much of that game.
But I do remember seeing that.
That sounds pretty hilarious.
Sweet.
Yeah. By the way, Pikmin 2 multiplayer, badass.
It's fucking good. Everyone should play it.
Yeah, Jake knows.
I played it with you guys.
Yeah.
You brought it over to my apartment one time, and it was fun.
Yeah. That game is being re-released for Wii. I think.
Wait, isn't
Pikmin 1 in one package? I think?
Oh, really? So Pikmin 2 is coming to the
Pikmin
Wii.
1, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was just Pikmin 1, which was like disappointing
and idiotic. Because Pikmin 2 multiplayer is, I seriously believe. Well, I can only speak in terms of the game I've played, but in terms of the games I've played, it's my favorite console exclusive real-time strategy like thing.
Yeah, it's really cool that the rounds are like 3 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's
really well suited to the interface. Like you don't feel like you need a mouse to do it, even though you're controlling like 50 guys, up to 50 guys.
Yeah,
because you actually have an avatar in the world that is directing these dudes around.
I also just like that I was gonna say like a pure RTS, but it's not at all. It's a weird Nintendo thing. But it's cool.
Capture the Flag. It's like a mixture of Capture the Flag and RTS.
It's cool that there's an RTS style game that you can play in a party game environment that actually has decently scalable tactics and like it looks simple, but people can show up that have played it before and absolutely rape you.
Right.
And
it's like a real fucking competitive game.
Yeah.
Except that it's
short. It's short.
And, like, pretty accessible.
Yeah.
But the actual level of depth for people who know what they're doing is crazy. Like my friend Tyler and I, who we started playing that game right when it came out because we really liked the first one. The first one was only a single-player game, and so we were excited about 2. We thought it had a co-op mode, and we were disappointed because it didn't, but we started playing the multiplayer anyway, and it's versus. We've basically been playing it ever since it came out, and at this point, like... And Jake knows, because Jake's been playing it for a long time, too. Now.
Yeah, ever since you introduced me to that game, like, basically, Jared and I just play Pikmin.
Right. And, like, it's like
friend.
when you sit down with someone who knows what they're doing and you play, it's fucking competitive. Like, those games are close. Like, it's basically a capture the flag type of thing, and you can have situations where, like, seconds separate victory for either player. After, like, 15 minutes of play, it'll come down to, like, a matter of seconds sometimes. Or, you know, if someone has a really good round, they can just brutalize the other guy. But it's always because of stuff they did. It's not like Mario Kart, where literally it's like, oh, it's got the blue shell. Like, there are some analogs to that in Pikmin, but it's a pretty skill-based game.
Yep.
It's pretty rad. And no one ever talks about the multiplayer, so I just want to mention that in case.
Get it out there.
Yeah, so Pikmin 3, I would love a multiplayer.
Online fucking multiplayer is what they need to do.
Yeah.
I actually am afraid that online multiplayer would fuck up Pikmin.
Really?
Because with any RTS of any sort that goes online, people immediately find exactly how to just fuck it up and make it so that you are raped in 3 seconds. If you play it the way that you think it's supposed to be played, someone will show you that the real way it's supposed to be played is this horrible way that is not actually at all how the game was intended to be played, but it's how you fucking rape people in 20 seconds.
In a hole.
It's weird. Yeah, it was a weird choice of Nintendo's to put Pikmin 3 on Battle.net.
Yeah,
but you know,
well, I don't. Well, that's fair. That's fine.
But you're right, though. I would happily play you on the Pikmin 3.
Like, I just want to be online to play. I mean,
we can swap friend codes.
Now, like, God. Most games at this point, I don't play with random people almost ever. Right? Games that are online.
You don't play Quick Match of Smash Brothers?
I've never done that.
I've never actually played Brawl online.
No. I pretty much exclusively play online games with friends at this point, so that's why I want Pikmin 3 online. But
yeah.
Yes.
It's rad. I really think it's one of the best split-screen multiplayer experiences I've ever played. It's just fantastic.
What else were you playing over the break?
Tomb Raider Underworld I played a lot of. I played all throughout Hitman Blood Money.
Oh, yeah.
Which I got on your recommendation.
Yeah, what was
amazing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I actually picked that up as well, but I've only played through like the tutorial encounter in the first half of the first thingamabob.
Yeah. Tutorial is not... It's not very representative.
No, yeah. I mean, the tutorial. I'd never played a Hitman game before, so the tutorial was enjoyable for me. Also, this is a stupid thing to be excited by, but I switched to first-person mode for a second out of curiosity. I was so fucking happy that I could see my feet and hands climbing over shit. Why don't other games do that? Why does Gordon Freeman not have a body?
Yeah,
I've asked Valve about that, and they said that they had to just make a call between trying to deal with elements of the Half-Life series, like walking on very thin planks. And climbing like just doing certain types of things that when they tried actually, and like getting into a car and dealing with the animation on that, like because everything happens seamlessly in those games. They said it just presented a lot of visual challenges that they had to sort of just make a call between either clean break, no seeing yourself, or modeling an just insane amount of special cases.
So they just show the hands when you get the soup, and hopefully they've played Far Cry 2 and said, holy shit, you can open doors and climb into cars and pick up items and do all sorts of crazy
and still not have feet.
And still not have feet, admittedly. But like, it seems like if you look at the way that like Hitman does it, where you have a body that walks around.
Halo has...
Yeah, I guess Halo does it.
But the way they get around with it in vehicles is they bring you into third person when you get in a vehicle.
Yeah. But like, there's a lot of development challenges with like sort of merging actual body awareness with first person, because it's like either... You're basically making a third-person game where you model and animate an entire character for the player and then put the camera in their face, which generally ends up making stuff look really awkward in first person.
I mean, even in Hitman, I would never play that game in first person all the time. But
because Hitman, that's exactly what they do, because it's primarily a third-person game, and when you go into first person, it does look kind of really weird and awkward. And
it does. It was just exciting. It was just exciting to be able to look down and see like the dude, like the body in the suit, and see the feet playing a blatantly nicely animated walk cycle.
Yeah, I mean that's I can imagine
that it would fall apart.
That's how they did it with like Fear and Monolith's games like Condemned and stuff. Is you never see your character.
Fear?
Yeah, that you have a full third-person model, but you only ever see from first person.
Oh, okay.
You can through like developer commands, but not in the full game. Yeah. But they basically they gave you a full body, but they animated like the third person body to look good from first person. So where those two things collide is when you see your own shadow, you see like your torso
weird,
like wiggling around and like you're like so it's hard to actually do it well and not have the seams show through somewhere, you know.
It's nice that people are getting closer and closer to figuring out how to do that with I guess not only figuring it out but newer tech.
Yeah. I mean, hey, do you guys play this game Fallout 3? When you're in first person in that game, Falling Out. Falling Out.
Flat
3.
Out, the racing game.
Falling Out of 3.
Yeah, Falling Out 3.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you remember? When you go into first person, do you see your feet if you look straight down? Anyway,
as a rule, most people don't look down.
Good point. But I know, like,
body image.
I've been
sort of gamer body image issue.
Did you guys see that story about gamer body image?
That's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah,
where when male players play a game that features a like physically idealized male character, they start to feel more depressed about themselves.
It's really hilarious.
Yeah, well, it explains a lot of things.
Oh. Someone just got intangibly burned.
That guy could get a girlfriend.
Yeah, I did read that, and it's sort of sad a little bit.
Yeah,
sad if true.
Yeah, but there aren't that many. I don't know. I guess it depends on what kinds of games you're playing. If you're a huge God of War fan, I guess that effect hits you pretty strongly. But like,
wait, why? Wait, what do you mean?
Because there's an idealized.
You're a beefy dude who rips people apart and then has sex with people.
Yeah, there's a totally ripped avatar on screen at all times. But if you're playing Half-Life, you don't even see yourself.
Oh, well, that was the whole point of the survey.
Or maybe you do see yourself.
But I'm just saying there aren't that many games, at least that I've played, where there's like a super ripped dude that is supposed to be you on screen all the time.
That's true. Actually, I would say that sort of character archetype is probably most prevalent in the first person sort of type of game.
Well, I mean, or in games that I don't really play that much, like wrestling games, for instance.
Well, those guys already spend their time, surely, actually watching real dudes who look like that on television.
Probably
for playing a wrestling game, you probably also enjoy wrestling.
Well, I guess, but any kind of fighting game, I guess, like Street Fighter games or whatever.
But I mean, who knows? Maybe even like Mario gives people body image issues.
God, I wish I was a rotund, pudgy plumber. God, he's so fucking hunky.
I was gonna go with he's so adorable. I'm not adorable at all.
He's so marketable. I'm not marketable at all.
You're pretty marketable, Gamasutra.com's Chris Re.mo.
Thanks, buddy.
I think that you're a pretty solid brand.
I try to craft my image that way.
Re.mo.
Re.mo, yeah. If anyone who lives in the Macau Islands and owns a business, could you register re.mo for me and I'll pay you back? Apparently, to register an MO top level domain, you have to be associated with an actual business located on the Macau Islands. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce the Macau Islands. And you have to use their.
It's Macau.
Moog.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The Christmas Islands wish they had thought of this particular set of requirements before opening up their TLD.
Yeah, or the Cook Islands.
Oh, yeah. Also, if you live in the Cook Islands or have a lot of money, please register idlethumbs.co.ck for us. We would be very happy.
Also, while you're at it, register 8bit.co.ck.
Yeah.
With a nice companion piece to 8bitcock.com.
Yeah, whatever you can think of.
Or,
just register. Fuck it. Register any goddamn domain and point out our website.
8bitcock.cock, also acceptable.
Yeah. You could make also a subdomain on that site, 8bitcock.
.8bitcock.cock or cock.8bitcock.cock.
Yeah,
Jesus.
8bitcock.cock.
This is not even allowed to be on iTunes at all anymore.
/cock.
Even with an adult.
Penis.
Clown fetus part. Wow, I just did a spoonerism there.
And video games.
What kind of video games?
A computer game.
Oh, I like those. Have you
played Tomb Raider?
Oh, you've been playing it on your computer?
On my computer.
Which Tomb Raider?
On the personal computer.
A microcomputer?
A microcomputer.
An IBM? IBM compatible?
Yeah, an IBM PC-AT compatible.
Tandy.
Are you playing on your Tandy? So you picked that up at Radio Shack?
Yeah.
So you've been playing Tomb Raider Underworld on your Tandy.
Did you say IBM PC compatible or Tandy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played it on my Tandy.
I personally got the Amiga version of Tomb Raider Underworld.
Got it on Steam.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone would made a Commodore 64 version of Tomb Raider Underworld. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised
like
if there was one Eastern European guy who was actually trying to port it to the Amiga. Also,
yeah, that's basically what I mean, yeah. Like that
Like-
kind of thing. Yeah, there's probably a dude doing that.
So what do you think of Underworld?
It's awesome.
That's cool.
Sweet.
I really like it a lot. I've played probably 8 hours of it or so, and
So you beat it?
No, I don't know how long it is, but I have not beat it. Maybe I haven't played that much of it. I don't know. Maybe it's more like 5 hours. I don't know. I've played.
I don't know how long the game is.
It's pretty fun. And
Some amount of hours have been played.
there have been hours. In fact, Steam could tell you. You can go look at my Steam account right now and see if I'm lying my ass
Oh
off.
man, I friended some reader on Steam. Some reader, I'm a big douche. Sorry. I forget usernames and real names, but he friended me, and then like I came back. He was like, "Oh hey, what's up? Yeah, on Steam."
Yeah.
And then like 24 hours later, I came back to my computer and it was like, "Hey, you don't play a lot of games, do you? Jeez." Fuck this. I was like, what the hell? I don't know if he said fuck this, but like the implied attitude is like, what the hell? So I don't actually play a lot of games. So
Yeah, well, we already know that about you.
I know, but
who listens to our podcast?
But then someone looked at my Steam profile and found the truth that it was like no hours of game this week. It was like, oh well.
That sucks. You should probably play more games.
I mean, that's also true of me, but that's just because I haven't played anything that I've downloaded on Steam.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I also haven't really played a whole lot of games. I did.
Oh, okay. Well, then.
Probably do actually play more games than Jake does.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I picked up
100%
a lot of games during the Steam holiday sale, though. So
I picked up one game
And now
during
you
the
have a
Steam
computer
holiday
that can play
sale.
more games.
yeah, I got an all new video card. So my New Year's resolution for the year of the video game is to play a video game.
Sweet.
I think you can do it.
No, I intend
I'll help
to
you
play
out if you
games.
want.
Really?
Oh wait, more than one game.
Well, hopefully multiple games. You'll help me
Oh.
out though. Is it going to be creepy like Ghost?
You can just feel my presence on your hand as you guide the
No, I
mouse around.
meant like making a pot.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, is he a ghost at that point? I thought he might have still been alive.
No, I think
He's
that
a
was,
ghost. That makes it more hot, though.
I think that was her, like, him being a ghost and her thinking he was there or whatever. I didn't see that fucking movie.
There
I've
was a
just
go-
seen
there
that
was a-
scene on VH1.
Did you see Ghost? Did you see
remember
Ghost
the
Dad?
80s. I did see that.
That was the sequel to
It was a
Ghost.
spiritual successor to Ghost. Ghost Dad.
Man, the
with the third in the
I think
series
it's the
being Ghost
Ebert. The
Dads.
Ebert quote from that. I think is constant mugging wears thin.
What?
That's like that's a good pull quote from review of Ghost Dad. Anyway,
In other video game news.
Did you guys hear about this show, Coach? It was on
man.
for
Yeah, we
9
talked-
9
years.
seasons.
yeah, we've
Anyway.
already covered Coach.
My bad. So
Tomb Raider.
We're probably all about Coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tomb Raider. It's pretty sweet.
what do you like about it?
it's cool. I mean, Tomb Raider has a reputation at this point, with the exception of maybe the most recent game, for not being good.
Yeah, and
it's good now,
fun.
apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I really haven't played. This is the first Tomb Raider game I've actually played since the very first one on PC. I don't remember if it came out first on PC or PlayStation, but I played the original one on PC, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, so did I.
literally
Yeah,
been
And-
since then that I've played Tomb Raider.
I have some good memories of the original game. Like
I don't really even.
I was playing with a
There's those
friend.
alligators.
There was a
No.
T-Rex.
Yeah,
I mean the main thing I remember is that you could do that swan dive move off of the edge of
Yeah.
anything that was high, and
Can't do that in this game. I've tried.
that's too bad. That's like the iconic thing.
yeah, because at some
Maybe you
point,
can. And I don't know the button or something. I
yeah,
don't think
but at some
You
point,
type swan dive.
there's a text parser.
yeah, my friend and I who were playing when we were like whatever 14 or something, like we found this cliff edge that was whatever 20 stories up or something, and we just did a quick save there and went swan dive Lara Croft off of the edge, and we discovered that their sound designer
Did it not expect that one?
No, inserted the most horrible appropriate neck snapping noise when you swan dive into rock. It's just so sickening. It's just like, and you're just like, oh, and then there's
It's
a game
like
over screen, and you're just like, holy
neck
shit!
snap, where
Right.
It's like
It's
gruesome.
but it has it's really good in a sort of horrifying way.
Great.
Well, I mean, it's like really, it is how it should sound, but it's gross and disturbing.
Yeah.
And pretty awesome. But I played a little bit of Legend. I've played like an hour or two of Tomb Raider Legend.
Which one was that?
That was the one immediately before Underworld, which I understand Underworld is largely based on as far as the mechanics, and a lot of the sort of the stuff you do in it is pretty much taken. You know, it's a continuation of that game, more or less. But
so that one like was the first one that Crystal, like the first sort of real one that Crystal Dynamics did, because I know they did Tomb Raider Anniversary, right?
Tomb Raider Anniversary sort of actually came out after Legend, and it was based on Legend as well.
First one that they did.
But yeah, Legend was like they took the game after whatever the one was before that, Dark Angel or something, and they sort of rebooted it or whatever.
They threw a huge amount of Tomb Raider out.
Yeah, but they tried to they tried to remake sort of what was good about the original games with more modern mechanics, and then Anniversary was them remaking the original game with all those new mechanics and stuff. And the thing that's interesting about that is that Doug Church was actually the design director at Crystal Dynamics when Legend was designed, and he had a big hand. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it. I learned that recently, but yeah, Doug Church had a big hand in like redesigning Tomb Raider to be Legend.
Wow.
And I don't know how much credit he as an individual deserves, but he was involved in that project, which is an interesting thing. It was before he went to EA.
Yeah, must obviously.
Yeah.
Cool. So
fascinating.
New Tomb Raider engaging.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned the original one, because I didn't really like it at the time, and that probably is not reflective on the quality of the game, but. Do you guys remember what year that was? Was that 97? 96?
I think it was like 96.
96, yeah. That was definitely the era when 3D platformers were like brand new.
Yeah.
And I hated them.
Yeah, same.
Didn't like Mario 64, didn't like Tomb Raider, even though I played a lot of it because it was sort of like a big sort of banner title at the time. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. You know, I'll play this. I couldn't do it. I couldn't fucking deal with it.
The level of refinement 2D platformers had gotten to, and even the sort of level of sort of, I guess, like, at the time, agency and immersion that PC 3D titles offered.
Yeah, like first-person
first-person PC games and 2D platformers.
Yeah,
and
I played
seeing those sort of combined in the first generation of console 3D platformers, it was really, it always felt ham-fisted and clunky to me, and I just couldn't do it.
I played Tomb Raider on PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Came in the trapezoidal box.
I didn't play a lot of console games.
Oh, weird. I only played that on console.
And
it was from the era of IDOS games where all their boxes were trapezoids that the original Thief came out in as well.
But I mean, for me, it was less
a good trend. Weird box shapes.
The thing that was interesting to me as a PC gamer was that and I was talking to a coworker about this, who was someone who was like a big console gamer at the time. He was talking about like when PlayStation came out, it was like this really hard shift to 3D. It was like, oh god, everything's got to be 3D now. Like there was still some 2D stuff, but I mean, it was definitely like. Whereas on the PC,
it scaled up.
Like, yeah, ever since '92, like people had been starting to do some 3D stuff, and like TIE Fighter, like X-Wing, those games were what 92, 93?
Well, I mean, super early flight sims, even. And like that shitty PC Terminator game.
There's 3D stuff that
which was a Bethesda game back
there was
in the day.
3D stuff that was way older than that.
Maybe it was awesome. Maybe it was shit.
There is a weird there's a weird sort of cult fan base for that game. It's like actually that game was totally sweet. I don't
the Terminator, first Terminator PC game.
Terminator whatever.
Oh, right.
The one where you could like drive trucks.
But yeah, that is true that 2D and or the sort of shift from 2D to 3D was a way more gradual evolution on the PC, and it just felt like a thing.
Yeah, I was very accustomed to 3D on the PC. What I hated was 3D in platformers. Like I played the shit out of 3D flight games on the PC and like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
But I hated 3D in platformers, and I just couldn't do it either on the PC or console. And I remember trying to play Tomb Raider because I felt like I should play this game because everyone was talking about it. It was like one of those things that was like one of those weird games that became a breakout thing, and people who didn't play video games knew about it. And I'm like, oh man, I should, like Myst, for example, same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I guess I should play this.
Like the seventh guest.
Yeah, the seventh guest. It felt so
a beckoning skeleton hand.
I felt like I was
Phantasmagoria
things and like. Not like Phantasmagoria. And I felt like I just never had...
Like Gabriel Knight 2.
Yeah.
Like Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders.
So anyway...
It's sort of like that, I think. Weren't there Mindbenders in the original Tomb Raider?
Yeah, there were aliens and Mindbenders, but they never combined them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, anyway, I didn't really get into that game at the time, and I didn't end up following the Tomb Raider series even after I got into 3D stuff more. And now I'm playing this one, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And
like, what are you liking about it?
I like that it really like one of the main reasons I got it. One, because there was a big Steam sale, and I got addicted to buying stuff on Steam. I spent about $200 on Steam.
Holy
in December.
Shit.
And bought 18 or 19.
But think of the savings that $200 got you.
Well, I literally got 18 to 20 games.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking preposterous. That's like $10 each, $10 or $11 each. And so...
no tax.
What?
No tax on Steam. Good deals.
Yeah, no tax, exactly, and no shipping. So, and I had been playing Prince of Persia, which I also got on Steam, and just wasn't. I mean, I talked about Prince of Persia on a prior cast, and like, so as you guys know, it was not. I was really irritated by the complete lack of challenge and the complete wishy-washy nature of almost everything about it. Like the sort of closest comparison I can draw, my computer's making noises. The sort of what Prince of Persia, the new one, reminds me of is like when you go see a Hollywood movie that is that certain type of film.
Just sort of really inoffensive.
Yeah, it's like the whole
like it just
movie
washes over you.
Yeah, wow. You guys know what I'm going to say. This is amazing. Like you sort of go to it and you get the sense that, yeah, like basically the only goal with this thing was to make an experience that was like not particularly challenging and sort of just pleasant enough that you can spend a couple hours and not be irritated by it and sort of be done and be like, oh, well, I had fun. Was fun.
Sadly, though, Prince of Persia irritates you.
It irritates me because of that. Because like it's not.
Well, I mean, in the same way that a lot of those Hollywood movies that are engineered not to irritate people irritate some people.
Right. I mean, they can still be successful. Like I don't know. I mean, but and maybe that's not what they were going for, but that's certainly how it comes off to me. Like everything about the game seems like it's trying to hedge its bets.
Well, I mean, I think they were definitely going for like accessibility. Right. Like, hey, anybody can pick this up and play it and not be scared of dying
but
or
it's
failing
like, why
or whatever.
Why are you playing a game if there's no? I mean, I was talking to Jonathan Blow in Montreal, and he was saying.
Anyway, so you're talking to that guy.
I was talking to a dude, and he was sort of saying that he thinks that challenge is actually something that shouldn't be seen as like we shouldn't try to downplay it too much in the name of accessibility because it is a fundamentally crucial part of what makes a game. Like that,
it's almost like games are good when you have to play them.
I mean, to be fair, I think that sort of the nuance of his argument there is that challenge shouldn't be like downplayed in games where the core engagement of them is to be challenged, So like in a game like Prince of Persia where, what's interesting about this game? Well, it's challenging to figure out what route you should take through the space and coordinate your button presses to do it properly. And you take the challenge away and it's like, well, now you're just doing rote tasks, Yeah. Whereas if there was a game sort of structure where challenge wasn't the basis of why it was interesting, then I don't think it's fair to say that he argues that all games should be challenging, but there's like this trend of taking games where the core entertainment value of them is to be challenged and remove the challenge for accessibility, which just kind of deflates all meaning from the experience,
Although I think he also just generally is also more in favor of games in which the challenge is a fairly important part. I mean, based on the conversation I have with him, I don't think he generally is as impressed by games.
So not a solitaire man.
No, I mean he definitely like I don't know, but I publish this full interview at some point soon. But like he definitely seemed to be arguing
the challenge police are coming to get us. But I think it's unfair to characterize like I don't think there's sort of an idea that a game like Animal Crossing is invalid because it's not challenging because it was never meant to be challenging. But like taking,
are you speaking for Jonathan Blow or yourself at this point?
Well, that's how I'm reading the argument that I've heard him make in a number of speeches. I don't think he's sort of like, all games should kick your ass. It's more like where there's this trend of taking whatever challenging FPS or RPG or kind of like core old school like game structures and pulling a challenge out of them. That's invalid as opposed to like The Sims should kick your ass. Like, that's not what The Sims is about at its core. That's
fine. I think probably what he's saying might be a little further on that spectrum than you might think, at least based on the terms in which that he was. I mean, it sounded a little more definite to me the way he's saying it, but
maybe
you're probably right in that he probably wouldn't make as broad a statement as the way I initially characterized it. So anyway, whatever. The point that I was trying to make was Prince of Persia.
We're talking about fucking video game theory.
Yeah.
Bro.
I don't know. You guys are just arguing over who's going to more accurately put words in Jonathan Blow's mouth.
That's why I want to get off the topic, because it seems like something we shouldn't be trying to.
I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, Prince of Persia,
just saying,
no matter what, fucking fails on that front because
it fails the blow test.
It succeeds at the blow test. It's basically one big quick time event that
I still always think someone's going to say One Big QuickTime Movie when they say that sort of thing. I'm sorry.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
I know, it's a One Big QuickTime event.
Yeah. And it is weird that QuickTime is like what people call that. Who came up with
I think it's a term that existed before QuickTime event or QuickTime Movie. Anyway.
I think that Yu Suzuki came up with that term.
Did he really?
I believe it was first used for Shenmue, yeah.
I think that might be right. And yeah, I mean, that's basically the effect of how it feels to play Prince of Persia to me. And then just almost everything about it, the characters and the dialogue, it all feels very just sort of
calculated?
Like, yeah, just bland and just kind of like, we want to make sure this is like a very sort of
nice
experience. You'll have a nice time playing this. And it's just like, there's nothing about this game that like really grabs me and says like, this game actually has some direction behind it, except in some of the visuals, but I feel like they sabotage themselves even in that department.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that goddamn toon shader, that gosh darn toon shader. That might not be a toon shader.
It's not actually a toon shader. Contrary to the beliefs of the internet.
It's not a toon shader or a Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. The thing I like about Tomb Raider, and it's, I will acknowledge that part of my opinions on Tomb Raider are definitely influenced by my opinions on Prince of Persia, but in comparison, both of them being games that are sort of like runny, jumpy, fighty, platformer action games set in exotic locations. Like, there aren't too many games like that. So, I mean, within that segment, Tomb Raider Underworld is such a far superior one that it really struck me because I played them within a few weeks. And so I was really impressed by how good Tomb Raider Underworld was at that formula where Prince of Persia failed so dismally. And the main reason is it's a fucking video game. Yeah. It's like you play it and it's an actual thing you play. Like, if you miss a jump, you fucking miss it. You fuck up. Like, I find myself, that's not a reason on its own, but there's just like a feeling to Tomb Raider that you are in a world that is governed by physics and governed by mechanics, and the things you do actually matter.
Well, and even in the fiction of this game, if you're playing as a character who's leaping across like parapets or who's exploring a tomb, you want there to be risk, in my opinion. Exactly. I mean, that's more a sort of, I guess, like narrative or world reason than gameplay, but I don't know.
it's true. I mean,
sorry to go back to Prince of Persia for a second. Sure. It's funny that a hallmark of the Prince of Persia franchise pre the Ubisoft 3D ones was gruesome fucking deaths, and then they make one where you can't die. What the fuck is that? Like, if you brought that game back to like the early 90s and reviewed it, people would be like, who calls this shit Prince of Persia? Anyway, sorry.
Imagine if they rebooted the series with that shit.
Right. It's like
anyway. It's funny. Speaking of the relationship between those series, Steve. Wait, what happened?
Nothing. I made a noise.
Well, anyway, a
mic fart.
This game, Prince of Persia. God, I keep doing it. I hate when I can't say things properly.
Also, if you go back 5 or 6 years in time, and someone who keeps confusing the new Prince of Persia and the new Tomb Raider is a hilarious concept.
That's true. Yeah.
Why do I keep screwing up Prince of Persia and Tomb Raider? Like right when Sands of Time came out and Tomb Raider was like pooping on itself. Eventually, who is this guy?
These series have swapped roles. Yeah. And anyway. It's funny because on that note, I guess the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, like that game is actually. There are a lot of similarities in my mind between that game and the current Tomb Raider Underworld. Like, I get the same sensation. Like, one of the things I loved about Sands of Time, you walk into a room, you look around, and it's this big, really intricately constructed environment, and you have to look around and kind of figure out, like, how am I going to get across this crazy obstacle course or solve this crazy puzzle with moving things around and, like, putting things into place and surpassing this thing. All the Prince of Persia games have that, but the new one, you don't really care because you can always just keep trying things on a granular basis until you get it right. With Tomb Raider, I get that same sense that I loved about Prince of Persia, which is I'm exploring this big space. There's this great atmosphere. Like, I'm just looking around, trying to get around this. And I've had times in Underworld where I'll just sit there for a few minutes and just kind of look around and judge distances and look at things and try to figure it out before I actually do it.
Yeah, that's really exciting. That makes me want to play that game.
Great.
Yeah, and that's. It all ties together, right? Because what you're doing there is putting consideration into the acts you're going to perform, and for the player to be motivated to consider what they're doing at all, there needs to be risk to doing anything, and to be risk, there has to be consequence, right? And so when you remove the consequence within this framework of I might die if I do the wrong thing, then
it falls like a house of cards.
well, then there's just no reason to even give a shit about
IGN.com.
anything you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like,
That's
I
true.
might as well
Exactly
just go in a
true.
random direction until I don't die, because I'm
Right.
just going to go back to the platform every
Right.
time I fuck up, you know.
And also the level of autocorrection,
the engagement isn't there, right?
Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that happens in
A
Tomb Raider.
gust of wind comes in.
Right. Like that happens in Tomb Raider 2.
Well, a magical girlfriend saves your ass every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If that's a gust of wind.
Where's Lara Croft's magical girlfriend?
The nerds can only dream. Yeah, but I mean, there's a certain amount of control autocorrection that goes on in any game like this just to keep it
It's like
from being
bullshit rubber band bullshit.
impossible. But there's
Like you mean auto lining up with edges so you don't fall off and shit
right.
like that.
Well, and if you jump onto like a tiny little like surface that's just a few
You slide
inches in
both
diameter,
legs off both sides.
I mean, the
Classic nut shot.
game has to sort of like
Right.
just
Well, but if you step off an edge, you automatically like grab it so you don't just fall to your death or
also
whatever.
stuff like that.
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
not what I meant, but that too. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just there's a balancing act between that. Like you have to do a certain amount of that to make the game playable.
Yeah.
Especially in a 3D environment.
that sort of stuff
but you have
makes
to balance it properly.
It does, if it's done right, it does make it far more fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and it makes you feel like you're participating in
Right.
something where the character that knows what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
in Tomb Raider, there are a lot of times when you're trying to judge a distance. If you're, for example, grabbing on a ledge, and maybe prior Tomb Raider games did this too. I don't know, but and you there's another ledge you're considering jumping to. Lara will sort of look towards it expectantly, and obviously to indicate yes, she can make that jump,
Right.
which I really like because
Yeah.
it's like, well, clearly she would know how
Right.
far she can jump, so that helps me know.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff is to help the player be able to do what they intend to do.
Exactly.
Whereas
Right.
keeping you from dying if you fall off a cliff is
Right.
just not letting the
Exactly.
player.
right. Well, yeah, I mean,
fuck
that's,
up.
yeah, it's,
Like, in a
games that actually
legitimate way.
let you sort of meet your intent. It's so exciting. Like,
Yeah.
that was, Sands of
that's-
Time was one of the first games that actually made me feel that way in a 3D platformer, because I sort of, I guess, maybe didn't play a lot of 3D platformers for a while.
Yeah.
But just looking, I'm here, there's this thing over here, I'm going to fucking jump up and swing on that and then launch myself over to that one. And then you do, it's like, thank you, game, for being sweet.
Whereas in the new Prince of Persia, every single wall run you do, everything is marked by a very clear, worn away strip that
The
represents
14 other princes that went by.
Exactly. Is that what I don't understand? Like
It's weird. Yeah, if you sort of backed up and just had like a security camera of that environment, it'd be really weird. You just see sort of like a lady with like 6 loaves of bread on her head who then sort of does a little wall run to get back to her house.
the hilarious thing about that, and one of the reasons it's so idiotic, is that
It's a major
those
thoroughfare.
games, all of these games, Tomb Raider, Prince of Persia, whatever, all of them are predicated on the notion that these temples were once not actually ruined, and people once traversed them in a very logical way, walking downstairs, going through doorways. Now they're all crumbled and shit, so you have to use your crazy skills
Yeah.
to get across these accidentally created chasms and
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas the new Prince of Persia is just guess this is just how people get through this temple. They fucking run up the walls.
Well, you haven't
Legendary modern architect.
Yeah, you haven't finished the game. It implies a cool fiction where the reveal is that it's sort of like a braid thing where every time you died, every time you died, it was actually a different version of yourself who had been in. No, I'm saying that could be a cool explanation.
I've seen people complain about the ending to this game.
Oh no, I don't know what the ending is, but it could be a cool explanation for
That
one
ending
of those worn
would
places
almost
on the wall.
make me not completely horrified.
Yeah.
That would also be terrible.
No, that'd be awesome.
But at least it would be a good reason for.
I don't think it would be terrible. It would be an interesting reveal. That thing that's been annoying you, there's a reason for it.
Schrodinger's game or something where it's just all these things are actually happening and you're just sort of existing in one instance of it. That'd be a pretty sweet conceit for a game. I mean, that's not too dissimilar from the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Wait, that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
As you fell to your death in a spiky pit,
Right.
and then
Yeah, that's true.
Although, were you the one I was talking to who was talking about sort of what it must be like listening to this guy tell the story?
Oh yeah.
Why do you keep telling me this?
Then I fell into a pit.
He's just totally trying to creep out this girl, and then I fell in a spiky pit. He shines the flashlight on his face, and then she starts to cry. No, it's cool. I made the jump, really. And then I caught the lantern and sort of swung around for a second, sorted a dude.
And then a guy jumped out of a closet and sliced my fucking head off. Oh, that's terrible. No, that's not
I killed that guy, actually. That was gross, too, but I killed him. Then I drank some water.
And then I stabbed my sword into him and drew out his life essence, which I stored in my blade. It was cool. Don't worry about it.
Then 20 vultures, gnawed me in half and I fell off a cliff. But I didn't.
But actually, that's really
Wait. That's not how it happened.
like a really bad.
I forgot that's not how it
It's too bad
happened.
they didn't, because a lot of games do this now. It's too bad they didn't auto-record a journal like that assembles itself based on all that shit. So like you can basically punish shitty players by just having like an unreadable story. Then I fell off the ledge. Oh, actually, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Then I fell off the ledge. No, actually, that's how it happened. Then I fell off that ledge. Like
No, wait. That's not how it happened.
And again and again.
Yeah. No, but
Then I jumped across the ledge and fell into a pit of spikes. No, I mean, then I fell into a pit of spikes. That's not what happened. I fell into a pit of spikes. Wait, my bad. I jumped across the spikes, and then a guy chopped my head off. Wait a second.
yeah.
I guess that's actually fairly accurately what the new Prince of Persia game is like.
But it could be
that also would be like my play log for Mario would be amazing.
but that could be a pretty sweet like incentive for a player to do like a perfect playthrough where like, holy shit, it actually reads like I did this and this and this and there were no
he never had to gross out that girl.
And then you get the real ultimate
then she
ending.
Kisses you without having to manipulate her through time or whatever. Wait,
wow.
Did you ruin the ending of that game?
Well, you did just talk about manipulating her through time.
Well, isn't that what happens in that game?
It's an interesting turn of
I
phrase.
love that you don't ever need in these situations to drop that you might have spoiled the ending because what you say is already amusing on its own and sort of interesting, and then it's like, wait, isn't that what happens at the end of that game?
Sorry.
I just thought
you guys were.
I just thought it was a weird phrase as a free floating assemblage of words. It was creepy and awesome.
Without having to manipulate her through time. That's this weird. Yeah, it's this weird sort of mini game. The game sort of mixes up its gameplay right in the last room.
Ugh. So I'm glad that you like Underworld. You're making me want to play it.
Real quickly, I should quickly mention that.
Wait, that's not how that happened. What I really said was.
I wish you could rewind time.
I want to also mention the art direction in this game, which is
in Tomb Raider Underworld. Okay.
And
there's been a lot of talk about the Prince of Persia art direction already.
To not talk about those games anymore.
I didn't mean by you. I just meant it comes up a lot. Anyway, so I was making sure.
Underworld's got some nice looking art.
Yeah, it does.
Is that true?
Like
Chris says, it's true.
It's a great example of, in my opinion, people making a great looking game that doesn't rely on like an alternative rendering style. I love when people use crazy rendering styles to make interesting looking games, but I also think that sometimes people downplay games that are rendered more traditionally just because they're not using some kind of crazy shading or like outlining or something. Like Jake is narrowing his eyes at me.
Well, I mean, I was
just thinking about how bullshit Crisis is when compared to Valkyria Chronicles or whatever.
Let's not, please.
That's true, though.
All right.
No, it's not.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, Underworld isn't quite as far up on the scale as Crisis. I mean, it's still pretty stylized, right?
It's not pretty stylized, really.
Oh, it's not?
In my opinion.
Well, I mean, like the proportions of the characters and stuff aren't.
Yeah, but that's just like I think a legacy of the Lara Croft character. But I mean, most characters in that game, they're rendered very, very normally. They look like just what a human looks like realistically, and the
it's more naturalistic than like Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, it is. You're right, though. It is nice and refreshing, especially as graphics get better to see games that rely more on
like composition,
classic composition, color design, cinematography, or not actually like shot framing, but just sort of the ways to make a realistic image look good through the lens of a camera or lighting through a human eyeball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds similar to the approach that was taken by Uncharted, which is obviously draws from Tomb Raider and everything, where it's sort of a clean like take on rendering the world, you know.
But it's gorgeous for the same reason that like the temple in Petra in like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is like, because it actually is an amazing, awesome looking piece of architecture.
Yeah, as like opposed to like a super stylized, like exaggerated,
exactly.
like hand-drawn looking kind of weird thing.
Where, like when I play Underworld, I've taken so many screenshots. Like I'm playing the PC version. I think I mentioned that. So I'm pressing print screen all the time, and just like these huge, awesome
vistas,
and also just interior like shots where it's got the classic adventure movie kind of thing where you've got these interior locations that are just cavernous and huge, where there's like an entire temple-esque thing inside like an underground temple.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like this architecture is fucking crazy looking,
Yeah.
and it's super cool.
Have you
it's super detailed? Like there's little vines everywhere and moss and like crumbles that are really nice. Just like the world artist must have gone to town on this game.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say because I forgot.
It's all swept up.
Do you guys?
you were all jazzed on the visuals.
Do you guys want to maybe hang out for a second, like just sort of chill, take a break?
Okay.
Dude, I'm into that.
Well, it's been 45 minutes, so.
Oh snap!
So we ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Well, we're back.
I'm ready too, and we're back.
We're back. I hope you enjoyed that song.
Shut up. I'm sorry for not having a song in a while.
Evil.
I haven't been struck by any inspiration. If anyone can
What?
think of any hilarious things that happened in the games industry recently
I'll strike you with something.
that weren't depressing, like EGM shutting down and stuff, let me know. Yeah. Anyway.
I think you could write something hilarious on that topic.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, so real quickly, I want to mention, because we never actually addressed this on the podcast after it came up, we did, in fact, put up our Games of the Year at GotY.cx, GotY.cx. I guess some people on forums are not aware of like what that entire site is an allusion to. That's probably for the best, I guess.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Yeah. So
Don't spoil the surprise.
Gamesy of the year.
Gamesy of the year. Games of the year.
Yeah.
Probably more accurate.
Yeah.
So you go there, we talk about some games. A lot of readers talk about games they liked. It's pretty sweet. Jake did, I think, a really great design. So good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
It's clever and
Very elegant.
somewhat terrifying.
Very classy, I think.
Hey, also, if
About
you,
as classy a treatment of the source material as you could ever hope for.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
For sure.
As a sort of bonus, if you go to the Idle Thumbs Picks page of GotY.cx, there are bonus unlockable audio goatees.
Oh, yeah, in which we elucidate eloquently on our reasoning behind choosing those games of the year.
Yes.
It's a little podcast bonus for you.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check
That
it
page
out.
also contains an Easter egg 4th Ultra bonus.
Oh, does it? I didn't know
Yes.
you put that in there.
You have to sort of click on the swirly flourish at the bottom, as I'll refer to it.
Oh, okay. Very clever. I didn't even try that.
Spoiler.
Well done. Okay, so there's that too.
Enjoy that.
So yeah,
readers.
GotY.cx, the Idle Thumbs and
Also,
Friends games
I
of
want
the
to
year.
point out, because no one will notice this if I don't point it out, those have really nice album art and stuff that actually shows up if you download those files and play them on your computer. So no one will realize that if I don't say it. So there you go. Anyway, moving on. That was fun to make, and we put it out in like 2 days really quickly, and I'm amazed it turned out so well. So.
Yeah, we as we've said multiple times, we really only did games of the year because we thought GotY.cx was a good domain name to have.
Exactly.
So
Another good domain name.
And thanks to our readers for submitting so much, so many write-ups of their games of the year. It makes up a whole lot of that site.
And
it's cool
if there
to
was
see.
a game that you thought should have been on there and it wasn't, you have only yourself to blame, because we gave you weeks to get that in there.
That's a little New Year's guilt trip for you, our readers.
Someone on the forums was like, I can't believe you didn't have this game. And it's like, well, I can't believe you didn't send it to us.
yeah, he actually couldn't believe we didn't have Sam & Max Season 2, which I also can't believe. I was incredulous.
Well, you should have written us in.
It was going to be my submission for Game of the Year, but then I realized that I'm not a big fucking asshole.
Okay,
So I wrote about Braid.
sweet. You know you can rewind time in that game?
Fuck you.
Anyway, another thing one of our readers did recently was register the domain list of domain names pointing to idlethumbs.net.info. So everything before the .info is spelled out. List of domain names pointing to idlethumbs.net.
Yeah, so it's like DOTNET
Yeah, right.
.info.
And if you go there, it's
Which
got
is not spelled out.
Right.
It's a
If you go to-
domain.
It's got like 15 or 16 alternate domains for our website that for some reason exist. It's really rad that for some reason we have well over a dozen alternate URLs, some of which have really crazy
Redirect
like splash
pages,
and stuff. Yeah, like someone made a weird sort of pictorial audiovisual accompaniment for the Bobby Kotick, John Riccatello song that I did a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, it's like a weird sort of JavaScript DHTML driven like animated PowerPoint gone off the rails.
Wow.
Exactly. So that was
Yeah.
Sounds pretty wild.
That's good.
I want to click on it.
So good job.
Wait, which domain is that? that has that on it.
Yes.
Idleballad.com, I think. Idleballad.something.
Huh.
So
Sweet.
yeah, that and more listed on that long-ass domain. And that was Pancake Humper who made that one, I think, for us. So thanks. Moving on. Anything else? Oh, don't forget, you can still send us questions to questions@idlethumbs.net. We'll totally read them.
Some of them on the air.
Some of them, yeah. Anything else? Any other housekeeping?
I might as well say, if we're mentioning a bunch of shit, we do have a forum on idlethumbs.net, which has a surprisingly active community, some of whom have been there for 5.5 years. But it's
now we have more new registrants than we've had since like 2005.
Actually, I might as well mention this now since I brought up the forums. One actually genuinely super cool thing about our forums is that one of our users, Urky, I think it's pronounced, who's been around for quite a long time, sort of after being egged on by the Idle Thumbs staff, created a forum bot that plays old Infocom text adventure games. So if you want to get in on a group playthrough of...
It'll play anything that is...
I think it's anything that's Z-Machine compliant.
Yeah.
So right now, the forums are actually playing through a sort of weird, I guess, like group playthrough of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the old Douglas Adams Infocom game. So if you go to the Idle Thumbs forums and check out the text adventure forums, basically if you make a post, it just sends a command to the text adventure interpreter and the forum bot will spit out the next reply. So people are collectively playing through that. They actually recently fucked up and someone left the towel back like 50 moves earlier, so they rewound to a save. So
that game's fucking impossible.
Yeah.
Like that game requires you to have like memorized the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy before playing it.
I would actually, it would kind of be dumb to follow up a Douglas Adams game with another one, but I would really like to do a group playthrough of Bureaucracy, which is a really awesome...
Oh yeah, I know of that, but I never played it.
Yeah. I've like tried to play it and sucked, and then I followed a lot of the Something Awful Let's Play thread of it, and
that's cool.
Realized that I really should play it. But instead of me playing it, I can watch a group of people fail to play it on our forum.
I also think it'd be cool if, at some point we maybe like... I think it'd be cool to put in some of the current...
Yeah, some current IF.
Text adventure stuff going on. Yeah, some of the current interactive fiction that is, for people who've made it using Z-Machine.
I think the bot can actually handle more than one game at a time.
We're trying it right now. We're seeing if it works, yeah.
It would be nice to do the classic game and then like play a couple of the annual IF competition winners.
It's a really cool concept. Is that something that is done often on forums at all?
I'm sure someone else has done it before, but I haven't heard of it. I mean, it is... obviously, it's been done before in the context of MUDs. It's it's probably the closest relation to it is a MUD. Except
different than a MUD though.
Except this is like the internet equivalent of everyone sitting down in front of the computer playing an adventure game.
Exactly right. A MUD is like a specifically like personal experience in that you have complete control over your own character.
Yeah,
in a shared world.
And my assumption is that this is as close as it gets to real time. Like you post a reply and the bot immediately puts the next line of the game up.
It's always under a minute.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's really neat.
Yeah, and I think it's set up so that if you preface it with a pound key, you can just type in a comment that's a regular post.
It's sort of like, I guess, a like sort of modern equivalent to like a play-by-mail RPG.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm sort of talking about? Like that you play with friends, but this is actually, I guess they have those on email now, but this is even more immediate than that. So
no, that's really neat. So, and this guy Urky like programmed the bot himself and everything.
Yeah, I think he said the first thing that he did was he wrote a Java app that could interface with VBolt, and then he asked what we could do, and I think it was me. I'll take the credit for it. I actually do think it was me, so I'm being a bit of a douche, but also
presents Urky's.
Well, he asked what to do with a forum bot, and I said, well, maybe you could make it post the replies from an Infocom interpreter.
Fine, you're a genius. We all know.
All I'm saying is, when this shit goes viral.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you guys want to join in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, idlethumbs.net forums.
And, post elsewhere too. Because posts in there don't count to your post count. So you're like...
What is happening right now?
I'm just saying. But don't just go in there. There was one dude who sort of went in there and like sort of just started blazing through the text adventure. Like
that guy was in there by himself playing for hours, and then someone else came in and was like, we left the towel behind like 20 moves ago, so you really can't win this one.
But then that guy, after like someone in there, that guy ended up going like posting in other thread stuff too. So now he actually like posts on the forum, like in a bunch of places and in the text adventure.
Forums.idlethumbs.net.
Yeah. So anyway, we fucking plug the shit out of our own site.
Whatever.
Yeah. Moving on.
We want people to have fun.
So one of the other things
with the text adventure.
Yeah. This break, and Steve, I know you did this too. I played some indie games.
Yeah.
I played some non-indie games too.
Yeah.
I played a fucking lot of games. So more games over the last... Because did I already mention I spent like $200 on Steam?
You did.
Yeah, like 18 games.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
But I played the end of year lists that, have kind of been going on have been really good in my opinion, just because they have reminded me or introduced me to a bunch of shit that I had either missed the first time around or not heard of at all. And so I kind of went on a spree and downloaded like probably maybe like a dozen indie games and like demos for games that I hadn't played yet and stuff, and played a whole bunch of them, and there was some really cool stuff that I was really glad that I got to check out. I mean, like the big ones are, I got World of Goo. I like downloaded the demo, and then somebody gifted me the full game, and I've been playing through it, and that's pretty cool.
Week.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Is the ending really good?
Is the sense of accomplishment worth
the
it?
Story or anything? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
By the time the game ends, I felt like very satisfied, and it felt.
Well, I've heard it has sort of like an interesting kind of like subversive actual like story to it.
I mean, the story is I like it. It very much operates like on its own terms in a way that is playful about what it is and is not, and it's sort of like lightly injecting some, trying a little bit of commentary. And
like current event kind of.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not didactic or anything, right?
Yeah, it's not.
That's cool. I'm close to the end of World 3, so I'm still getting through it. But and
I like puzzle games like that where the gameplay changes a lot throughout the course of the game. I mean, Braid was like that too, and it's
they keep a lot of times they definitely keep introducing new elements to to what you can do in the game.
Often
sort of like every level
are just like, here's the mechanic, here's 100 levels of it.
Right,
I mean? Whereas those two games in particular this year, I think, really excelled at introducing a gameplay mechanic that is sort of an anchor throughout the whole game, but consistently changing it up in fun, unexpected ways.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have not yet played World of Goo, but it's on the list of 1,000 games that I downloaded over Christmas and will now play in the future.
I also, the one game that I got, as opposed to your 20 games, I got one game off of the Steam sale, and it was Everyday Shooter, because it was discounted by $1, but I had never
That's
played
all that it takes with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it took it down from $10 to $9.
Didn't buy anything else.
Yeah. But it's pretty cool. It feel like, obviously, since I got it through Steam, well, I could plug in a gamepad, but I'm playing with the keyboard, and it feels like a little bit more like it wants to have a gamepad. But
it's a twin stick shooter. So.
Yeah. But it's pretty neat. I've wished that I could progress through it a little bit more easily.
It's hard as shit.
It's pretty hard, and you like have to get points to buy more lives and stuff, which is fine.
That kind of irritated me, actually.
I don't know. It just makes it sort of slow going, where I had to replay a bunch of the first two missions a lot to try and unlock more of them or whatever. But I generally, I don't know. On the one hand, I think it's cool, and it has sort of that single author feel to it, where you can kind of tell, everything in this game came from one person. But I don't know. I don't quite get the volume of buzz that there was about it, sort of like back when it was released, because it's cool, but it didn't blow me away. IGN.com as far as like, holy shit, this is kind of a revelation of this is an amazing thing. It's neat though.
Yeah,
I want to get through the rest of the levels. I want to see how he riffs on the core gameplay in the rest of the stages.
I've played the shit out of that game. I actually. I don't really remember much what the hype was like, because I first played it at the IGF at GDC, like in 2007, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's mostly what I'm remembering, is that it won a bunch of IGF awards, and there was it was like, and it got picked up by Sony, and it's a huge deal and stuff, but it feels sort of way more unassuming than that to me.
That's what I liked about it. I loved how unassuming it was. Like,
I guess I had somewhat higher expectations for what it might be, going into it.
I played it before there was even any buzz, so I guess I sort of just hadn't. I don't know. I guess I was just looking forward to it based on those grounds. And
I think it's way more. It's geared pretty specifically towards you liking it, because it has the whole like music synchronization.
I do love
element
that stuff
to
a
it.
lot, I played I bought that game on PSN when it came out, and I played a fucking ton of it. And then when I was on vacation, I bought it on Steam again, like played a fucking ton of it. First with the keyboard, then with the 360 controller plugged into my PC. So I've basically played many, many, many hours of that game with the PS3 controller and a keyboard and an Xbox 360 controller. Like I basically played that game in as many configurations as you could play that game and bought it twice. And I think it's so goddamn rad.
So in your face, Mr. Guy who likes it.
But we also, I think, played some more recent
I also liked
games.
it. Yeah. I played, well, I don't know if this one's more recent. I guess it probably is, but I played this game that I remember like reading about on Rock Paper Shotgun earlier this year called Noitu Love 2, which is evolution backwards.
Is it like
with
2 or something?
It Noitu space love space the number 2.
Yeah.
And it's like an indie like side-scrolling kind of beat 'em up game. It's sort of like
16-bit-esque.
Yeah, it's like a hyperkinetic 16-bit sort of Mega Man style kind of game, but just like really fast paced, where you're kind of sprinting through these side-scrolling levels and just wailing on all of these fucking robots and stuff with swords, and it has a really
like wizards.
There's 0 wizards. I'm sorry.
Year of the Wizard off to a bad start. I guess that game was from last year, though.
I don't think we described the Year of the Wizard.
I'm glad, but
right.
It's sort of like a.
Sorry.
It feels. It has a whole lot of. It has a whole lot of really really fun like boss battles and a lot of unique art to it and stuff. And it's very PC native because it's based on like mouse gestures and stuff.
Really?
But it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up game.
I played another game by that guy called Solar
Plexus,
Solar Plexus, and that was very mouse driven too. And I assumed the other one wasn't, but yeah,
it's very much like
interesting that
swipe your mouse in this direction while holding the right button, and you do like a special attack and stuff.
I like just as a point of interest. I think it's interesting and kind of cool to see a guy who's making a game that aesthetically is so incredibly console derived, and yet has such a strong sort of PC dependence in the design side.
It has a very like 16-bit Japanese game aesthetic to it, like a sort of an old school pixel art anime style game. But as far as I could tell, the guy's like maybe from Northern Europe or something like that. Like he has sort of like a Scandinavian name, so it's I enjoyed it a lot, and I ended up registering it and playing through the whole thing. It's really fun, really fast paced.
Cool.
Yeah.
I played. Let's see, what did I play? I played a cool game called Osmos that I think you can download an alpha of. I played it for the IGF, and it's kind of like the way I just popped into my mind the other day was like Spore's first stage meets Spore's final stage. So the gameplay is sort of similar to Spore's first stage, where you're like this little orb essentially that swims around and absorbs and is absorbed by larger things and absorbs smaller things. It's more of a direct relationship than Spore is. Like in this game, if you touch something smaller, you can absorb it. If you touch something bigger, you get absorbed and die. So you basically, it's like, I guess almost even Katamari like in that respect. But it takes place in space, and everything is affected by gravity and like orbital attraction in a really cool way. And so some of the levels are these huge levels where at the center of it is a big star-like orb that everything in the level is affected by, and it's actually all affected by actual gravitational computation.
Yeah.
So it's not...
Programmers fucking love that shit.
Yeah, exactly. The guy, in fact, in the README is like, this is not based on sort of actual scripted orbital paths. It's entirely based on like scripted gravitational forces that operate properly. If you're interested in playing this game to the fullest, please like read this. And he links to like this crazy fucking like scientific thesis about orbit.
It's some weird thing that I've noticed that like programmers love
programmers
to simulate
like math and science.
They specifically love to like simulate gravity and planet
it's
like
fucking in right now. Whatever.
It's also just pretty interesting. Like those objects like.
But even like the original like Space War or whatever was a simulation of like Newtonian physics.
That
like
game
fuck
is,
it.
Like pretty preposterously complicated for its era.
Yeah.
Like just in terms of the computation going on.
Yeah. So Osmos it's like it takes gravity into account with this sort of powers of 10 gameplay.
Also,
Right,
this is
exactly.
probably a dumb thing to say, but that name is stupidly clever and makes me happy.
I know, Osmos, it's a great name. It's basically like cosmic osmosis.
Like Cosmic Osmo by Cyan.
I vaguely remember something called Cosmic Osmos.
Jesus.
I really hope you talk about Spelunky so I can talk about Spelunks by Cyan.
So, yeah,
You spoiled it. You killed it. I was going to.
Damn it.
oh man.
Cut that part out, Chris, so he can make a joke.
No Spelunky.
Yeah, well, Osmos, it's cool. You should look it up. Actually, the one thing I'll say about Osmos that irritates me, and this didn't really affect my enjoyment of the game because it's really fun, but I really I'm starting to get a little over this incredibly pervasive trend in indie games right now to have your soundtrack basically just be a bunch of nearly unmusical sort of ambient kind of like just background noise that just kind of like exists, and like your game is, it's all that kind of stuff where the game is like, this game's supposed to be ambient and you float around and the music is ambient, it's ambient and everything's ambient, and like
At first I thought you were talking about like the stuff in DEF CON, and I was offended because that game is fucking awesome.
well, that game really has such an incredibly strong sense of sort of atmosphere and like almost everything. But that's not really what I mean. Do you know what I mean with this when I say music? Like it's like. but I mean,
You know.
But DEF CON,
You want me to educate your ass in music and
I guess
what
it
it
just
is?
has weird tones and stuff that
it
come
just
up
has
every
the
now and
sound
then.
of like a room and like weird footsteps and like sort of echoes and stuff. But I'm talking about, I mean, maybe you guys don't even know it. I might not be explaining this well, but there's a trend in a lot of indie games right now of just having a soundtrack that is just sort of the most like minimal of ambient music, and everything is supposed to just be really laid back and sort of I don't know how to fucking describe it.
I think I kind of know what you're talking about, and I'm sure
And
that
it's
if
just
I heard it, I would know exactly what you're
It's
talking
just been really
about.
done to death, and I feel like it's no longer sort of a clever, sort of original thing to do anymore in indie games because fucking it's just.
Well, it's
I've
just
played
it's
so
like
many games.
chiptune elevator music.
So it's time to bust out like the Tommy Dorsey big band for the final release of Osmo.
Well, for example, like here's something a like an opposing game I'll put against it that could have been that but isn't. Brain Pipe. It's fucking awesome. It's amazing. You guys should go download the demo now. It's like Jeff Minter. It's like a Jeff Minter game, but you can actually play it. Like
I played it.
Yeah.
I wasn't that into it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of pretty up my alley, I guess, in terms of certain things. But
I mean, I thought there was a lot of interesting stuff about it. Like, just as far as it's inhabiting like a first-person perspective in this really abstract environment. You know, like it's an interest. Like, it's
how do I describe what it is?
well, okay. So
it's a brain pipe.
It's a pipe that goes through a brain. Are we good? Does that just
Interesting.
no?
But it's a game.
Yeah.
Get this.
It's basically it's
You go
like
down a tunnel.
it's essentially the
like that screensaver.
no it's like the
It is like that screen.
it's the meteor field segments from Earthworm Jim.
There you go.
Pretty much.
it is pretty much.
Except that you don't have a third-person avatar. You simply have a point
Right,
of
it's in
view
first
that
person.
that is described by sort of a
looks
wireframe
like inside
iris
an
of an
eye.
eye,
Right, yeah.
drawn on screen. And so, yeah, you go down this like twisting tube that has obstacles in it, and you have to use this first-person point
Like a first-person brain pipe.
to navigate the brain pipe and not run into shit. And you can like hold down the right mouse button to go into slow-mo for a little bit when there's like a really tight obstacle.
I believe
like
the phrase
that
is
stuff.
bullet time.
Yeah, you can use bullet time and brain pipe.
And
So
it slows down the music and stuff too.
yeah. So anyway, it's
Like that game Braid.
But anyway, the reason I bring this up is because this is one of those games that is entirely abstract. It's
Yeah.
not really representational, and they could have easily done it.
But they went
That's
with Dick
just-
Dale.
What?
They went with Dick Dale for the soundtrack.
They could have easily done it as sort of just a very generically ambient kind of thing, where everything is just very like sort of weird and soothing, and sort of the sound, the music is very just kind of almost non-existent.
But I mean, it's a very
instead,
psychedelic game.
Yeah, it's a very. They went the more psychedelic route, and the music is really cool, and it's cool in that it just throws in weird musical cues for like a few seconds at a time, and just throw a lot of surprising things at you. And at least for me, and I don't know if Steve, you had this experience, maybe not, but I for some reason really enjoyed this game like more than maybe I would have expected. And the way the music is sort of switched up really quickly and thrown at you made me kind of read in different things to what I was seeing. It's sort of like how if you're driving in a car and you're listening to music, and again, maybe you guys don't do this, I don't know, but like sometimes if I'm listening to music in my car, my brain will create sort of very vaguely defined narratives that are different than how it would be if I'm listening to something else. Like they will
Yes.
add a certain tone to the surroundings that that would be different if you were listening to different music. And I got that same effect while playing Brainpipe.
You want to hear something weird about Brainpipe? Did you did both of you guys play a bunch of Counter-Strike?
No, I never. I played it once when it was in the version that had vehicles in it.
That's about when I was playing CS as well. Weird.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I've played a couple rounds of Counter-Strike Source. I've played a couple rounds of 1.6.
Oh, so you don't know that? Okay. You guys remember? Shit. Well, you got.
Just go with it. Someone who's listening to this has probably played Counter-Strike.
Our readers are Counter-Strike fans, so that the level DE Piranesi, that's like it's a museum, like in a castle thing. Anyway, it's in Counter-Strike Source. The guy who designed that map was one of the 3 guys who made Brainpipe.
Oh, yeah.
It's just weird.
Some of the Brainpipe guys are ex-Valve, and some of them still work at Valve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this guy made that map before Counter-Strike was bought by Valve.
Oh, okay. Well, there is another guy there who actually does work at Valve, and another guy who did at one point. But anyway, whatever.
So anyway, just a really random connection that I found out from whatever. But yeah.
So anyway, I mean, Brainpipe, it's definitely the kind of game where it's not very deep in terms of gameplay, but I really like it. It's got just it's one of those games that just keeps speeding up until the point where it just becomes almost impossible, like Tetris or something. Yeah. And it just gets really fucking heart pounding and just brain pounding.
Brainpipe is the new Tetris?
Brain piping.
It's just, I don't know. I really
serving up piping hot scoops of brain. We good?
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Steve.
Talk about
I played
Spelunky.
Spelunky.
Yeah, I also played Derek Yu's Spelunky.
Yeah, his new game.
Yeah, it's just
this was like the Artist of Aquaria.
Yeah,
I think he also probably did game design on that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and
I think he just drew a guy.
He drew a fucking mermaid.
Oh, you make games? So are you like an artist or a programmer? Sorry, that's the 2 things that you are if you work in games. Yeah. If someone doesn't know what a game is.
Yeah, until just like a week ago when I was talking to my mom, she thought that I did art for video games because that's what a designer does. I guess I had never explained it to her properly. At one point I had described what my job was to my grandmother through the lens of Super Mario Brothers. I was like, so
your grandmother knows what Super Mario Brothers is?
Yeah, I mean, she saw me playing that.
Grandma.
She saw me playing that when I was 5 years old in the 80s. She remembers what Super Mario Brothers is.
My friend's grandpa used to call Mario Dickie Dork.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
But anyway, I told her, like, if I was making Super Mario Brothers, I'd be the guy who decided, like, where the question mark blocks and the holes in the ground and the enemies went. And so from that, she derived that I was the one who made the art for Mario levels. Like that I guess she was like, oh, so you figure out where the trees and the clouds are in the background or whatever. And I think that filtered down to my mom. Like, and that's where she got the idea that I was doing art as opposed to whatever design is. So, point being that, yes, Spelunky is some sort of aquarium man's new sort of independent project that he released on TIG Source as sort of like a beta, and it's a weird procedurally like random like it's a side-scrolling like 8-bit style exploration game where you're a little explorer like Indiana Jones style man with a whip, and caves are randomly generated.
Cool.
They are. That you go around and explore and try to get like gold and treasure and stuff, and it's sort of a roguelike in the sense that randomly
that's like Rogue.
Yes, it generates
like a roguelike.
It generates one cave and you clear it and get to the exit, and if you don't die, it generates the next cave, which is a deeper level and it gets more challenging, and you're just trying to like get as far down into this cave system as you can.
What are the variables that would determine how difficult? Like, what does it do to generate a level that is automatically more difficult?
Well,
more dudes.
Sweet.
More men.
Fewer
left. Bronstring, Merrick Bronstring.
It adds Merrick Bronstring to your level, and
shit.
Yeah, then you're fucked.
Oh man, there might be a Merrick GIF.
Perhaps.
Never mind. Okay. So it's a roguelike in that Bronstring exists.
It basically every level that you go down, it adds at least one more element. Like, you start out and there's just like blocks and pits that you can jump down, and there's maybe like bats that fly around. And then you go down another level and it introduces like little stone faces that when you go in front of them, it shoots an arrow out. So you either have to avoid them or you can like drop something in their path, like a rock or whatever, and they'll shoot the arrow at the rock, and then you're free to go, you know. And at one level, at one point, it makes it all dark, and you have to carry a torch around, and you can't carry anything else while you're carrying the torch. So it's sort of a juggling act of like throw the torch down, pick up some treasure, take it to a place, go back and get your torch, you know. And it's really interesting how it sort of piles on the game mechanics to make it more interesting as you go down. But it's also like a roguelike in that it kicks your ass. And I've never made it further than like the third or fourth
Right.
cave before dying and having to start over. But it's really, really fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good times.
Cool.
You know what else I played this break?
No?
Fucking Bus Driver.
Oh, yeah. I played the
shit
Bus
out of
Driver
that
demo.
game.
I haven't played the Bus Driver.
I think that you brought up the Bus Driver. I think you introduced us to the Bus Driver.
Yeah, I introduced you to Bus Driver.
Well, either you or Nick.
We talked about it on a recent episode.
Oh, I know.
Did you,
I'm sorry to say that. Well, I wish it was me. It was Nick.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
Nick brought up Bus Driver, and it made me.
Or I mean,
curious.
I don't know. It might have been some other guy.
So I went and searched for Bus Driver. And,
Oh no! I searched for Bus Driver and I sent you the URL.
right, and you
Let's
said-
give credit where
no, that's
credit
true.
is due,
I did
my
search
friend.
for it, and not very hard. And then Steve actually did it for real. and
Anyway, Bus Driver.
What about it?
It's fucking sweet. Basically it's actually a game where we said this before, but like you actually do have to drive like a bus driver. I mean, it basically forced me to actively work to counteract every single established instinct I have as to driving in a video game. It was like being in the car and being like, shit, this isn't Katamari.
So,
I can't just like swing off the road.
After hours of playing Bus Driver, you then need to go take your fucking driver's test.
Yeah. So, basically,
Your bus driver's test.
Well,
oh,
what? San Francisco Municipal Railway.
Yeah.
Call back.
No, it's really interesting because it is like a simulation of what is it like to be a bus driver on a bus route. And that's your game. And they make it interesting because you actually have to basically like manage your bus. Like you have to plan ahead and start braking like half a mile before you're going to stop, and you have to use your turn
if you brake
signals.
too quickly, your passengers freak out.
Yeah.
And that'll fuck up your your flawless mile bonus and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you actually get points if you follow all the rules of the road correctly for a mile.
Yeah. And it's weird because they built a whole bunch of different parts of this fictional city, and it
all takes place in one big city.
Yeah, and you can do the routes with like a dozen different real world buses that they like simulated. It's
awesome.
pretty crazy.
That's great.
Also,
it's like a licensed flight sim, but for buses, sort of. Like it's weird.
Like the actual stops seem to be real cities or like real neighborhoods and stuff of real cities all compiled into this one. And I want to note that I'm pleased that they included Cockfosters, which is my favorite spot on the London Underground tube system. Which is I think a terminal on one of the lines. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that
came up when I was in London.
Yeah,
Alex mentioned how amused you were with with just the word Cockfosters.
Well, I'm sure if you live there, it's like, oh yeah, Cockfosters, whatever.
So Bus Driver, sweet. Speaking of Cockfosters,
yes,
there is that Idle Thumbs domain name 8bitalarmcock.com.
Oh man, yeah, and we were trying to figure out what that meant.
Yeah, if you go to 8bitalarmcock.com, there's a bunch of weird numbers that count up.
Yeah,
and it's weird.
It is weird.
Did you guys decipher what it is?
No, someone sent it in.
We asked, and Senor Superdouche, who's one of our forum users, says, "Hey guys, it's Senor Superdouche here." He spelled Senor Superdouche the Italian Senor, whereas our song was about the Spanish Senor Superdouche. So,
and then the original post was about a senior Superdouche.
Right. So we've got a whole family of Superdouches here, spread across continents, at least 2 countries, possibly 3. Hey, it's Senor Superdouche here. I'm probably a little late on this one, but here it is anyway. The 8-bit alarm clock prints out the current time, only it doesn't use the normal 24-hour system. If you look at the seconds, you'll notice the clock counts from 0 to 255 before the next minute ticks over. It appears the minutes and hours do the same. Instead of there being 24 hours a day, there are 255. And then instead of 60 minutes an hour, etc., etc. As I'm sure you know, the significance of 255 is that it is 2 to the 8th power minus 1, the largest number that can be stored with 8 bits.
Oh, so it is an 8-bit alarm cock.
Alarm cock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's more of an 8-bit alarm clock, or just an 8-bit clock, but
well,
there's probably a cock involved somewhere.
So well done.
So that's sweet.
That's
So,
smart
mysteries
of both
explained.
the person who made the site and Senior Super Douche for deciphering it. Or is that one and the same? Did he make it?
No, I think it was made by.
It might have been
I think it was
Toblix.
Toblix.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Very clever.
Yeah. I mean, you guys want to do the rest of the reader mail now?
yeah, sure. Why
Yeah.
not?
Reader mail.
All right. So Thomas B. Good, maybe not a real name, writes.
Maybe it is, though, so
Maybe it
it's
is, and
cool.
That'd be sweet. Hey guys, I got a random ass question. Has there ever been a game or games that you played and that you played but didn't admit you enjoyed to people? Mine was Monster Rancher 2 for PlayStation and the random trading card game on my cousin's DS that I steal from time to time. I don't know what game that is. Thanks, guys.
It's a porno
awesome,
game.
Awesome podcast.
Monster Rancher 2.
Well, no, the random card game is probably,
Oh.
A porno game?
Yeah, it's probably like Dong card. Fuck, I don't know where I'm going with that.
Probably Dong card. It probably is, Jake. It's probably Dong card. Jake, flipping me a couple birds here.
It's the
I don't
double
know, I think
deuce.
he dug his own grave there. All right, so,
I dug it.
Anyway,
But Chris pushed him in.
I pushed you right in. So, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question, I think. Like, are there any games you guys have played that are
That
maybe
I played, but I didn't
you might
It's a-
think are
admit.
too embarrassing
It's a
to tell people?
a game that you play that you liked, but
trying
no
to
one will think you're cool.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
trying to think of that too.
I
What would
played.
it be?
I mean, I don't know if I don't think I actually hid this at the time because I don't think that would have occurred to me. But I played Operation Neptune. Do you guys know what that was?
No.
That was a learning company game where you were in
Dark!
I mean, whatever.
What a
You were in a
nerd.
submarine and like you had to explore the ocean and stuff. But it was
Submarine nerd.
all of the like enemy encounters were math problems. It was pretty fun.
I played
That's
the
fucking cool.
the Mario version of that where you would like
Was
do
it
math problems
the Mar-
to
there
was a
jump on
Mario version of
Koopas and
that?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one. That's like it's,
Was that-
it's in
was
the
that
series
the,
as Mario's missing. Mario teaches
missing.
typing.
Right. Yeah.
Mario's missing was the Mario Brandon Carmen Sandiego clone.
Yeah.
Mario teaches typing was
Well, I
Mavis
played
Beacon
I
teaches
played
typing.
one of the Carmen Sandiego games also.
But those are good.
Yeah.
I'm just
Unlike that retarded submarine math game.
Operation Neptune. It was fucking sweet.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I mean, I probably have, and I can't remember. I'm sure that I've played it. Like, I've watched a lot of TV shows that I think are cool that I would never tell people that I think are amazing. With games, for me,
Wait,
it's,
like what?
I don't know, shows. There's TV. It's a lot of shit, but it's like with games for
Like
me.
Sex and the
True,
City?
you are afraid.
I can't remember any right now. Whatever. It's
How about Dong? Dong card.
yeah, I'm ashamed that I
World Series of Dong
I
card.
imported that. Fuck, what was I thinking? I mean, it's totally lame, you guys. Not cool game. But with games, it's for me. Sometimes it is the other way around, though, where like if I play a game and I think it's all right, and there's people who I don't want to actually have a conversation with about this game because I think that it's stupid,
The other way around.
I'll just be like, yeah, that game's cool.
Like, what can you think of any examples of that?
No, but it's usually when I'm talking to you guys.
If there's anything,
Like, really? Wait, can you? I'm now.
No, I can't fucking remember.
yeah. If there's anything that I
You guys occasionally get in extraordinarily like ridiculous conversations about games, and it's a game that I played that I maybe
like
couldn't
what?
give a shit about.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
fucking know. I can't remember.
Oh.
I don't. I hate
I don't know,
games.
I think that'd be interesting. Like, I don't know.
But I think my own personal bent in that regard is like if I play some game that I like but nobody else likes, I instead default to like evangelizing it really hard.
Yeah,
like no, it's really fucking good, and here's why.
I'm more like that
And
also. Yeah.
I that was my syndrome with Kane and Lynch, which nobody liked, but I thought that there was a lot of really interesting good things about it, so I wrote like a
published
million
one of the
words on the
articles
internet about it.
because I was happy to facilitate
Yeah.
a fellow evangelist, even though I didn't play that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I know how you feel, buddy. I'm going to publish this article for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I don't know what would fit in that category for me. It would probably be something that I would not even want to mention here, but I don't know what it. I don't know what it.
I was trying to think
of
back, and
anything.
it's like I'm sure there
I'm
are
genuinely
games,
trying to think. Yeah, I'm sure that's
but
happened.
also in all honesty, it's very rare that there's a game that I enjoy to the point that it would actually stick with me in a context like this. That I didn't like it enough that I felt comfortable just telling someone that it's
Right.
good.
Also,
Yeah.
honestly, most and this is like maybe stupid either on my part or on games' part or both, but like a lot of games, I probably would think they were pretty retarded if they were books or movies, but because just games sort of have a certain like I don't know range of stylistic and narrative like conventions, you just have to come to terms with that. Like like the Tomb Raider Underworld story, like it's pretty retarded. Like I don't actually enjoy the writing in that game or anything, but
you enjoy the interactivity.
Yeah, as an actual game, it's good. So I don't know.
Like
there's a lot of stuff like that.
I played a bunch of hours of Ape Escape 3.
I'm trying to find a game on there that I think you would like, that other people would think is retarded, to see if I can call you on one. But
go ahead.
I can't.
Oh,
they're all so good.
Disgaea Hour of Darkness.
I haven't actually played that.
I figured you probably hadn't. No, whatever.
But I mean, there is stuff
good question.
like
The answer is
like
no.
Ratchet and Clank, which I've only played the first one, and I thought it was pretty bad, and everyone else liked it.
Yeah. I mean, there are times when I'll play a sequel to a game that I liked, and like the sequel is significantly more lackluster or doesn't bring anything new to the table, and it's like, okay, that game is fun, but I don't like it enough to remember liking it.
That happens to me all the time.
Where it's like, I
actually very, very rarely play sequels to games I played that I wasn't hugely fond of.
Yeah. I mean, I've done,
Right.
I've enjoyed some embarrassing parts of games. Like I did spend a shitload of time like dating anime girls in Persona 3. Like, but it was an entertaining set of mechanics. Like, fuck it. I enjoyed unlocking the story points of whatever, going through these relationship arcs with these characters. Like, it's stupid, but I don't deny that I enjoyed it. Like, whatever. You can enjoy stupid things. Yeah. And I did.
I mean, there's like the blacksmith minigame, which you guys fucking excoriated me for playing in
Fable 2.
Like, ended up being
but
like contributing to one of the more enjoyable.
That was not like a sort of like pocket secret like of yours. You actually
I know, but
you tried to sell everyone in the world on Fable 2 because of the blacksmith game.
No, I don't actually think that
it was just a golf meter.
The reason, whatever. I don't
the back of the box quote. It was just a golf meter. Anyway,
golf meter 2.
Yeah, I'm looking through my collection.
You will win a Nobel Prize.
I suspect that we have all experienced that, but maybe not to it probably hasn't stuck enough that any of us have anything.
So what's the next piece of reader mail?
It's an interesting question though. There are probably examples. I just can't think of them. All right, so moving on.
Sorry, guy.
Big bro.
All right, Ryan Wianko, who runs industrybroadcast.com, would like to know what we think about. He has like a huge paragraph here.
Summarize it for us, Chris.
Yeah, basically he wants to know what we feel about the divide between PC shooters and console shooters. And he doesn't understand the appeal of console shooters.
You can play a shooter without having a PC that can play shooters. I mean, that's a pretty good selling point.
I really haven't played a whole lot of console shooters, and I still suck at them for that reason, but that used to be a barrier for me for not wanting to play them. The fact that I was decently adept with a mouse and keyboard. I'm sure this is the reason that most PC gamers bitch and moan mostly about Halo.
Yeah. Actually, the amount that PC gamers bitch about Halo makes me want to fucking punch faces because it gets really old.
Yeah, but I mean,
we're just going to shit on this guy apparently.
I have an interesting counterpoint that I want to bring up after you guys.
Well, I'm sure that I clearly remember being like 14 years old and getting Quake and having to really learn mouse keyboard control, and it was hard as shit.
For a long time.
Yeah, like
I was keyboard only for a long time.
Yeah, up to the point of Quake being full 3D, like all the way through whatever Duke Nukem 3D and shit that was 2.5D. With Wolfenstein and Doom, they were designed more to be pure keyboard.
There was no look up and down.
But with like Duke Nukem, it had mouse look, but I never used it. You know,
I didn't either.
And then with Quake, I was like, I guess I have to try and do this. And it was hard as shit. It's like, you do really have to separate what you're doing with your left and right hands. And I used like the arrow keys instead of WASD for years.
Same here.
Yeah. And so like, I think getting over that hump is an analog to learning dual analog first person
possibly
play.
Harder because you're expected to reach a higher level of precision with the mouse.
But
so
I think it's just but it's a learning curve for either one, and I think it's just sort of glossed over.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it's like, this looks like a first person shooter you've played on the PC, but I'm retarded at it. Yeah. Clearly the game is stupid.
Yeah.
Right. And I will say, honestly, like, I'm just gonna, fucking have an opinion here. I really do think the mouse is a better way to control a first-person game most of the time.
What?
Like, if it's a shooter anyway, and it's about aiming, like, I really do think it's objectively better, period.
You're right.
That said, like,
I mean,
mouse, game of the year.
It's also a lot more analogous to how your eyes and head move.
Where you can dart to a precision point.
Yeah, exactly, because you don't move your head like a robot arm that moves at a smooth speed from point to point.
Another classic quote, you don't move your head like a robot arm.
You don't pan your view slowly from point to point, Right. And so, yeah, but
I do want to say, on the other side, I mean, just basically to further the point about people have to learn either one, I have a friend who has such a hard time with mouse and keyboard, who he played a lot of PC adventure games back in the day, but most of his like action game experience has always been on consoles. And he, I tried to introduce him to Half-Life a while back, like the original one, and in the last couple of years, and he was playing it and being like, man, I can tell this game is really cool and like really unlike the kind of shooters I've played on consoles, but I am falling off ledges constantly. I am constantly looking too far, and it's just impossible for me. He eventually turned on God mode, and it was still really frustrating for him. And he's like, this is the most disorienting, weird, twitchy thing ever. I can't control this shit. And I recently helped him build a new computer, and he picked up the Valve Complete Pack to sort of give it all another shot. Also because he wanted to play Left 4 Dead because he's a zombie fan. And I guess all my talking about that shit all the time sort of drilled into him the notion that Valve games are sort of PC games at heart. And so he's like, well, I guess I should play this on PC. I'll give it another shot. And it's interesting because he's like, Left 4 Dead is the first game, like the first shooter I've played on PC, he says, that I'm actually able to control competently well.
Huh.
He said when he goes back to the Half-Life games, he still has such a hard time, but Left 4 Dead...
Weird.
Something about, I don't know.
That's crazy because I found Left 4 Dead on the PC to be like super twitchy. Like
really? I don't really find that.
Maybe he just turned the mouse speed all the way down.
He didn't. I watched him turn it up actually because it was that game has really low sensitivity when you first install it. So he turned it up a bit.
I definitely turned my mouse sensitivity up, but it seems to want like high sensitivity.
Yeah.
Like
he's doing great. He's actually like frequently when we play, and admittedly, this is with us, our group of friends, as opposed to on the sort of just random servers where everyone's fucking godly or whatever. But he frequently comes in first and second in the headshots. Like, I'm pretty impressed.
That's cool.
As someone who, like, last year was like, I can't do this.
Yep. Yeah.
On the flip side of shooters, at least, like...
Oh, and also, really quickly, I'm sorry. I want to say that the Steam sale plus the existence of Left 4 Dead proved to be such an effective tool for, like, getting this guy into PC gaming. Like, just basically all of a sudden now he has a computer that can play games and owns a whole bunch of PC games, basically because of those two things. So that was interesting to see.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
It's sort of the obvious flip side, at least for me, who is not really a competitive gamer in any capacity, is on consoles, like anything else on a console, it's just inherently a more social experience. Whether you're playing a competitive FPS or fucking Mario Party, you can play split screen Halo and have multiple people sitting on your couch, or you can have two people here on headsets playing and two people somewhere else. And I mean, headsets and matchmaking are obviously getting better and better on the PC, but it's impossible to replicate the experience of three people in the same room playing the same game unless you have a LAN party, which is dudes putting their computers in their trunk.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a stupid, obvious thing to say, but I think it's something that isn't considered as a factor by a lot of PC gamers who say, why the fuck do people play things on console?
Yeah. I mean, that's really important to Halo.
Yeah,
I think.
And Chris and I had a good time playing Left 4 Dead split screen on the 360 at one point.
Over his 360 version.
Yeah,
played it. It was fun.
And
Left 4 Dead PC does split screen, doesn't it? Or am I just fucking shitting out of my ass and pulling a shit out of it? Sorry, you guys might have witnessed a piece of shit pulled right there in real time.
I still felt really crippled playing that game on 360, but it was fun having my buddy sitting next to me. Yeah. And I will say,
your good buddy.
Steve's my good fucking buddy.
Speeeeeeeeelunky.
Also, I will say about Halo, seriously, I would say along with Pikmin 2, Halo 1 split screen multiplayer, my other favorite like recent generation console multiplayer ever. Like split screen Halo 1 with 4 players. I swear to God, my friends and I got so much mileage out of that, and it was so goddamn fun. Those two games, Pikmin and Halo, like I don't think anything has topped in the last 2 generations has topped console.
So if it was you and 3 friends on a desert island and you had to bring 2 games, it would be Pikmin 2 and Halo?
If we could only share one screen?
Yes.
Yeah. I would.
If on this theoretical desert island we only had one screen to split.
Come on, that's a pretty big difference. Like,
if we didn't have a LAN set up on this island.
well, if you're
Is there a satellite network?
Just saying, it's a hypothetical question.
How is food delivered? Will we be able to live indefinitely or only until our food supply
Are
runs
there
out?
bathrooms?
All right.
Anyway,
I'll just pee on your face. How's that?
I'm not on this fucking island with you. I'm at home on the couch.
I'm playing a console game. Yeah. But anyway.
Against you over the satellite connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So
No, but So anyway, I don't know if we answered that guy's question.
yeah,
Whatever.
hopefully we didn't fail or offend, but that's some random thoughts on first-person gaming on two
hopefully
things.
Hopefully, Ryan, we actually said some things you might have found interesting. So,
Doubtful.
yeah. So
Ouch,
here's
fuck you.
No, I didn't mean it that
No,
way.
I was talking to Steve, who said doubtful like a dumbass.
All right, so here's our last question
Jesus.
for this week. Spanky McGee, certainly a real name, writes... This is
Fucking
actually
horrible
This
parents.
is a long email, but I'm really glad he wrote it because it's interesting. He says, Idle Thumbs Chaps, I enjoyed your December 31st podcast and your Gordon Freeman sociopathic mute killer musings. Near the beginning of... okay, these are going to be some spoilers, but they're not... They're kind of minor. Near the it's too good of an email to not read. Near the beginning of Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Gordon and Alex walk through a train yard. They hear a robotic wail. The player... facing that way, we'll see a menacing robot perched on a nearby roof. It quickly disappears. Alex asks, did you hear that? Gordon probably should have replied, there was a killer robot on that roof. But he says nothing, and the killer robot stabs Alex.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. You blatantly see that guy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, it's not important. Later in episode...
You just go up to Alex, please,
fucking say
look at the
anything.
robot, No, Gordon's in control.
Later in episode 2...
I'm just picturing him stone-faced, just like turning his head slowly towards her, just like, like staring. And just like, oh, never mind.
Later in episode 2, Gordon and Alex reach a broken bridge from which they will obtain a car. An observant player will see the G-Man walking on the bridge. Gordon probably should have told Alex, look, on the bridge, there's the guy who's stalking me, who froze me for several years, who saved you from Black Mesa, and who implanted a message in your head. But he says nothing. At the beginning of episode 1, Alex wonders how she and Gordon survived the Citadel's destruction. Gordon probably should have told her how, but he doesn't. So I really enjoyed that this guy compiled additional evidence for it, because that's fucking great.
Yeah.
This guy deserves...
Well, the killer robot is the
pat on
best
back.
one.
Yeah, it is really amazing. So anyway, he goes on.
Gordon just watches. He does.
Yeah.
He just stands there.
Yeah. So he says and now he goes into sort of a this is just his opinion, I guess, which is cool. A mute protagonist works well if he has nothing important to say. In the original Half-Life, I believed that a junior scientist in a remote, collapsing, twice-invaded research facility probably doesn't have much to say when told to launch rockets and jump through glowing orange portals. Everyone around him knows more than he does. In the Call of Duty games, I believe that a soldier in battle probably doesn't have much to say when his commander barks orders at him. Gordon Freeman became famous among video game players, and Valve decided that he should be famous within the Half-Life world as well, among the Half-Life characters. But the story and the storytelling style no longer harmonize. The Half-Life 2 Gordon Freeman should have a lot to say. Doesn't he have questions about the state of the Earth, about what's happened to it? Doesn't he have loved ones whose fates he cares about? Any questions about the people and things he's killing? Shouldn't he mention where he's been since Black Mesa? Point out that he's the pawn of a supernatural business-suited manipulator? He may just be a dullard, but as these games progress, I think Gordon Freeman seems more sinister. We take it for granted that he's a decent fellow, but at the end of the series, perhaps episode 3 at some climactic moment, I expect to see Gordon Freeman's gloved hand, unbidden by the player, reach out and do something unspeakable. At least he won't speak.
This was like that hilarious false episode 3 thing that we were talking about, where you basically just kill Barney at the end.
We started sort of conceiving a concept for a future episode of Half-Life in which Gordon Freeman in fact loses any sense of sort of like guidance within the fragile constraints that the Resistance has somehow set up for him, and he simply
right as Gordon goes nuts.
And eventually kills Barney. Yeah, I enjoy these games, but this is going back to Spanky. I enjoyed these games, but Valve at their best promises a seamless match of game mechanics and narratives. Each successive Half-Life game shows more seams. So I think that's a really interesting email.
This actually reminds me, Steve, of that idea that you had for a Half-Life 2 mod where you dub in all of Gordon's thoughts. So like when the car is flying at you hear the guy like, holy shit, oh shit. Like, I don't know. Hey, Gordon. Hey, sup?
Yeah. that was my, yes, that was my idea. They would be really fun just to go. And I still don't know if all of like the campaign's original maps are available, like if you can load them into the editor and edit them, but just throwing a bunch of sound files in everywhere that something crazy happens or that someone addresses Gordon, or you're just like, did you see that shit? Holy fuck, there's zombies here, can you believe it? You know, like, it would be incredibly amusing to me.
Look at that crazy guy, wow.
Yeah.
I really actually,
what happened to your leg?
Crazy stump with a pole now. Yeah, that would then give that guy the opportunity to be the silent guy who just sort of looks at you and walks away.
Yeah. Well, it would turn the tables in those sequences where Alex is like, "Oh wow, you don't say much, do you, Gordon?" And he's like, "Wait, no, I'm right here. What? Why'd you say that?"
like, no.
Why'd you say that? And she just keeps talking.
She just keeps going. No, seriously, yeah. Knocking over the computer monitor in Kleiner's lab. Oh shit, sorry, my bad.
maybe
Yeah, exactly.
He just snubs you.
Maybe Gordon Freeman is in fact mute and he just doesn't know it. You know, like he's in fact trapped in a horrible nightmare where nobody can hear him. I mean, there's all sorts of explanations for this.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out in episode 3.
Yeah, God, that would be amazing.
It would be really nice and super surprising. It won't happen, but
they could do a BioShock style, like, you know,
Reveal of, oh, you were some weird homunculus the entire time.
exactly.
Oh, spoilers.
Anyway, we're probably reaching the end of this here cast.
we might be beyond the end of the
Yeah,
cast.
we're probably beyond the end
Of the cast.
of the cast.
It was good casting with you guys.
Yeah, so
I hope Nick feels real
Brecken
better
will hopefully
soon.
be recovered for next week.
Nick, this is for you. Cut it. Stop it now. End the recording.
Video game.
Oh, wait.
This is Idle Thumbs.
13. 4. All right. This is going to be
It's too bad we
good.
didn't actually do that for Fridays 4.
Oh, yeah. You should have. That would be great.
We can go back and re-record Idle Thumbs
Season
4.
2.
You can do 14.
Idle Thumbs 14.
That'd be good. Idle Thumbs 14.
Fort.
All right. Rocky.
Idle. It's Idle Thumbs. Idle of the ums. Remember when people thought that was funny?
That was 3 years ago.
Nail this bitch to the wall. Let's go.
Nail
Sounds
your
like something
penis
out
to
of
the wall.
Spelunky.
It is weird.
Oh, hey, Steve. Were you playing Speedlunky? So you just...
Spelunky.
Oh, it's not a real word. I'll say it how I like.
Spelunky.
Well, you don't spelunk, you spelunk.
You splunk.
Splunk.
I learned the word spelunk.
Were you playing Spelunky?
I learned the word spelunk and guano from Where in the
Spelunky.
World is Carmen Sandiego. Do your thing.
I learned that history sucks from Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego. Also that school sucks.
And homework's lame and Nintendo rules.
Well, I learned that Sega does what Nintendo don't. What do you think about that?
I learned Spelunky.
Gonna play some Spelunky.
Yeah,
What was
damn.
it? Dorothy?
Oh, wait.
Wow.
Spelunky.
My neighbors hate me.
They're not the only ones.
Oh.
Fuck you. Can we please record this shitty podcast?
Shitty cast.
Shit
Cast.
Shit cast.
It's a shitty cast.
We're gonna cast a shit into your face.
Like that monkey at the zoo. Idle Thumbs is there.
Where?
Casting shit into your face.
Oh.